What's going on, people watching from YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok? My name is Crazy Again, and welcome back to the 17th episode of Nerd Talk. Today we're here joined by another voice actor this time, Henry Dittman. I don't know if hope I say your second name right, Dittman.
Dittman, yeah, that's right. It's
Dip,
German. It's a German name.
German. Oh,
Absolutely.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
A
that's true.
bunch
Yeah.
of a bunch of East Texas settling Germans are my roots.
Gotcha. So if you guys don't know who he is the voice of Kabuto from Naruto. He's done it. You're one of the OG, not that many. You're there since season 2, all the way, and you're still
Yeah.
now in Boruto. So you're one of the OG, like OG of Naruto. Been there
Yeah,
for a
big
long
time.
time.
It was a long stretch. And actually I was doing Yuri Lowenthal, who plays Sasuke, and I were
Yeah,
doing a play together with Tara. They had just moved from New York to
yeah.
LA. We were doing a play with each other at a theater called Sacred Fools Theater with an actor named Amir Talai, who's now in the Has Been Hotel animated series. And
Oh, that is good.
so we finished it, and a couple of months later, Yuri called me and said, because no one was texting really, we were all calling each other then.
Yeah,
That's how long ago it was.
yeah,
We could text. I'm not that old. We
yeah,
just didn't text. And he
yeah.
said, I'm on this show, and they've got this character that you would be perfect for. I had played an asshole in the play that we did. Oh, am I allowed to swear on your? Am I allowed to swear on your
Yeah,
podcast?
no, don't worry
I
about
had
it.
played a total asshole on in this play called Crazy Face by Clive Barker.
Okay, yeah.
Um, and basically he was like, you would be perfect for Kabuto. So his Yuri really was the one who got me the audition, and he's the one who got
Okay.
me the part. And I've been lucky enough in my career to have a lot of jobs repeat, go into extra seasons, go into extra episode. Even when I do commercials and stuff
Yeah. Oh. Mm.
like that, it seems like I've been of Kabuto. That's a nice
Yeah.
run to have as an actor for sure.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and they give you a lot of opportunities. I feel like a lot of actors too nowadays they get that one role, and that role just gives them in the future more one role. I feel like an example I can give you, if you could look Lord of the Rings, like it's just like Orlando Bloom, for example, he was not known before he played Legolas, and after
Yeah.
that, look, Will Turner and all the roles he got after. So I feel like when one actor gets that one character that sticks for years, it gives them so many roles in the future after that, which happened with Kabuto.
Yeah,
Um,
he was right out of drama school. Like he literally had just graduated drama school
yeah.
when he got that part. And I can't remember the numbers now, but my understanding is that he was making like tens of thousands of dollars while other actors were making
Yeah.
millions. But
So
I'm sure he finished out okay.
yeah. So he was paying 175,000,
175K. There you go.
which is
Hundreds of thousands. Not bad, except that it was months and months of shooting and a major movie.
yeah. No, yeah. True, fair enough. I mean, for someone that just got out of acting school too, like
Oh yeah.
like that's a good number, honestly.
Not bad.
I
No, I do. Oh, I would take it. Don't get me wrong.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. So let's start with a question now. The first question I want to ask, which I always ask everybody, is how did you start your acting slash voice acting? Because I know you also do some like live action acting too. So how did you start your career?
Yeah, I'm kind of, I think, a little bit of a rarity in that I don't mostly do voiceover. I think most of, like, when I look at the people you've had on the show and when I talk to most people who do anime and voice acting, they're mostly voice actors. And
Yeah.
but the way I'll backtrack first. The way I got into acting is by failing at soccer tryouts in ninth grade.
Okay.
The my dad was an Air Force dad, so we traveled all over. I think I told you before we started recording, I lived in Ontario for a couple years when I was a
Yeah.
baby, when I lived on Guam and Florida and New Mexico, all over. And we had been stationed on Guam, which is this tiny 10-mile by 30-mile island
Oh,
in the
okay.
middle of the Pacific Ocean. We came home and I wanted to make
Yeah.
friends. And so I thought, oh, I'll try out for soccer. And I was the guy trying out for soccer. I didn't have cleats. I had never played soccer. I don't know who
Oh,
the
okay.
hell I thought I was, because by ninth grade, like, guys are good.
Yeah.
Guys are
Yeah. Yeah.
legitimately good. Um, and so I made it to the final cut. I was one of the last three people
Uh,
cut. So not bad, not
yeah.
bad
I
for a
mean,
guy who
that's
literally, they'd put me into scrimmage and they'd be like, "You're midfield," and I'd be running to shoot, and they'd be like, That's not midfield." I was like, "I don't know what you're talking. I didn't know the rules." I got so anyway. Um, I literally got cut and still sweaty and in my workout stuff, walked straight to the drama teacher's classroom and was like,
yeah.
"You had asked me if I wanted to do the play. Now I want to do the play." And that honestly started my career as an actor. From that point on, I just found that I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
I think I maybe love the camaraderie of working on a set as
Yeah.
much as I love the creative part. It may be equal to me. And even now, like I just had an audition last week for a job where the guy running the camera at the end said, "Man, you really love auditioning." And he said it like it was some foreign thing. But that's
Yeah.
what most actors do for a living.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
take Orlando Bloom out of it, the average working actor auditions
They work, yeah, a lot.
more than they work.
Everything they can get, like there was a name. There's a certain name for like it's like a working actor. I think it's called, right? Like the
Yeah,
only
working
like
actor.
what's
Yeah.
actors, yeah,
And I had someone very early on in an acting class when I moved to LA say to me, um, if you can figure out how to love auditioning, if you can treat your audition like a performance and your callback like a curtain call, you'll have a long career. Interestingly,
yeah,
he quit the business. uh, but I have found that to be the case. I love auditioning. I love being in the room with directors and just working the
yeah,
material. I love shooting. I'm bouncing all over the place, but I'm very passionate about it. I shot a series of commercials for GoDaddy.com forever
yeah.
ago, and Danica Patrick, the car driver, was in it, and we had to shoot ton of pages, and she had to leave at 12 hours. And we
Oh, okay.
finished, and the producer said to me, "We never would have gotten this if you weren't so much fun." That was the word he kept using. You were
Uh,
fun. You kept improvising and I said, "Hey man, any actor would have done the same thing."
yeah,
This is a big piece of information for people who are watching this because they want to be an actor.
yeah,
He said, "You made this fun. We got our day because you kept it fun." I said, "Hey, any actor
yeah,
would have done that." And
yeah,
he said, "That's not true." He said, "I spend 99% of my day with actors trying to get acting jobs. And 99% of the time when they get to set, they act like they don't want to be there."
yeah,
And that's one thing if you're the star.
yeah. Fair
But
enough.
if
Yeah.
you're a working actor, we were talking about basketball before. I like to think of myself as trying to win sixth man of the year. I'm sitting on the bench because most of the time the acting that I do, I come on set for a portion of the movie, a portion of it.
Yeah,
Sometimes I've been the lead, but even when you're the lead, you're not ever there every shot.
yeah.
So
True.
I
Yeah,
like to imagine the coach is going to call my number. I'm going to come off the bench. I'm going to hit every shot. I'm
yeah,
not going to get in the way of anything. And then when the game is over, I'm not going to get caught in the strip club.
yeah.
That's the way that I
Fair
view my
enough.
acting career.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So basically I did all that stuff. I went to college. I did summer stock theater. Um,
Yeah.
and then about the time that I was doing my last summer stock show right after I graduated college, I thought I was going to move to Seattle.
Okay.
I was a big Supersonics fan, but they had an up and coming film and TV community. They had a big theater
Yeah.
community. And right as I was leaving this last theater job, the piano player and music director said to me, "So you're gonna go to Seattle and work for 3 or 4 years and make a bunch of contacts there,
Oh,
and then you're gonna relocate yourself to LA." And by the way, again, I'm a military kid. I've moved every 4 years of my life.
okay. Yeah. Fair.
Before he finished the sentence, I turned to the creative director of the theater and said, "Change my bio in the program. I'm not moving to Seattle. I'm moving to LA." And I
Gotcha.
never had a backup plan. My dad is in the military and then became a
Um.
prison psychologist. There
Oh.
wasn't a family. My whole family doesn't live in one place because even my grandparents were military family.
Okay.
So I didn't have that thing. By the time I started making a living, by the way, working people trying to be actors, it took me like 6 years before I started really making a good living as an actor. My sister said to my mom, "I can't believe Henry never quit. Like it's been 6 years and now he's making this good. I better knock on wood. He's making a good living as an actor." And
Yeah.
my immediate response to my mom was, "I could have quit.
Yeah.
I never thought of it." But I also didn't have a great hometown that I could go back to. Even by then, my parents had split
Yeah.
up. I didn't have a family center. I wasn't going to go into the family business of working at a prison.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
So, but that's how I did it. As far as becoming a voice actor, when I got in the business 20 years ago, the attitude was you have to do the thing that you want to do, and anything else that you do as an actor is going to distract from that.
Okay.
So when I told a guy at a bar one time, he said, "What kind of acting do you want to do?" And at that point, I was doing commercials. I was doing
Yeah.
hosting, which I'm pretty sure maybe I know in England. I don't know if they do in Canada. They call it presenting, but I was hosting travel shows
Okay. Yeah.
and makeover shows. I was doing commercials. I was doing voiceover. I was doing independent movies. I had just at that point done maybe 2 or 3 TV roles. I was on a show called Felicity, General Hospital, which is a soap
Yeah.
opera,
Yeah.
theater, sketch comedy. If you could do it in front of a microphone or a camera with your clothes on, I was doing it to make a living. And this
Fair
guy
enough.
said to me, you know, if you want, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to be on a sitcom. And I've been lucky enough since then to be
Yeah.
on some sitcoms. He's like, I said, I want to be on a sitcom. He said, well, if you want to be on a sitcom, you can't do all these other things. And I said, well, man, I hear you. If I like to do everything, I don't really agree with that philosophy. I said, but you know, this
Yeah.
guy had no career. He had not worked at all really as an actor, except on stage. He was a great actor. He just hadn't had anything happen. I said, you probably know, I've been doing this a little bit longer than you. I don't mean to sound pretentious.
Yeah.
How long have you, I've been out here like 6, 7 years, and this is what's working for me. How long have you been
Yeah.
doing it? And he said, 10.
Oh.
So that was the other thing I kind of learned was you
Yeah.
have to trust your instincts. Now, look how different the industry is,
Yeah.
right? When Friends was on TV before you were born, probably,
Yes.
those actors did not even want to do any more TV when the show was over. They wanted to be movie
Yeah.
stars. They wouldn't do commercials. They wouldn't do other TV shows.
Yeah.
Everyone was blown away that Brad Pitt and Bruce Willis appeared on Friends. Trying to think,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what the next, like the more recent huge sitcom is. Like Modern Family. Modern Family came on the air.
Modern Film is huge. Yeah. That's yeah.
Every one of those actors was doing commercials, and it wasn't big
Yeah.
stuff. It was like Kmart and orange juice. It was
Yeah.
not big products. So it turns
Yeah.
out I was, and by the way, during all this time also of me, because I got an agent as a voice actor, I started doing some commercials as a voice
Yeah.
actor, but always it was more the on camera stuff. I ran into an actor at my voiceover agency, and he said, um, I was in a suit because I was going to an audition afterwards to play
Yeah.
a jerk in a suit, which
Yeah.
has made me a lot of money. I love playing assholes. Kabuto.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, you're going to an on camera audition, huh?" Like that. And I was like, "Yeah, man, I do everything. I like, I like to stay busy, and I
Yeah.
think the more things you do." Well, I only do voiceover. I was like, "Well, that's congratulations. It sounds great. You never
Yeah.
have to take a shower. You just go to work." Um,
Fair enough.
and years later, I moved to a different agency, and I ran into him in the lobby, and he said to me, "Man, I never should have stopped doing everything. This
Yeah.
business has changed. Everyone's doing everything." And so that I know that you asked me one question. I just talked for 40 minutes. We're probably out of time.
No.
But that's how the way I got into it was
Yeah.
taking acting classes, moving out to
Yeah.
LA, and saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
It's how it got going for me. And I now realize, because I've started doing some public appearances, and Yuri is the one also, and Miley, who plays Naruto, kind of pulled me into meeting fans and doing some public
Yeah.
appearances and doing some cons, which I'd never done. It's only now that I realize how many people in voiceover are specific to
Yeah.
voiceover. But for me, I just love to do it all. And I think if I do voiceover, it makes me a better on-camera actor. And if I do comedy, it makes me better at drama.
Yeah.
And I like to do all of it.
Yeah. Fair enough, yeah. Because I'm gonna say this for like you, but talk about casting. I feel like casting directors and people that do casting, even if it's animated or if it's live action, they deserve more props than what they do because they're the one like going through probably thousands, hundreds of actors for that one role. I feel like they
Yeah.
don't get enough credits for what they do for the industry, if it's animated, if it's voice acting, or if it's live action. I feel like they
Yeah.
should earn more credit than they already have, to be
I
honest.
agree. And didn't they just add an Oscar category for
They
casting?
did, yes, and Oppenheimer did win it, which they did deserve it.
It's so, it's so overdue. I think a lot of actors have an adversarial relationship with casting. I see it all
Yeah,
the time because specifically to commercials, which have really changed. I don't know if you can see this. Like 20 years ago, commercials were ridiculous. It was yelling
yeah,
into camera. It was
yeah.
extreme, Mountain Dew extreme. Now commercials are like little movies.
Yes,
And
true.
and by the
Yeah.
way, the director of photography on the last commercial I worked on was the director of photography for Top Gun Maverick.
Oh my
I've shot commercials with Wes Anderson's director of photography, with the Coen brothers director of photography. Like
God.
they're like little movies, right? And they're funny and they're small and they're subtle
Yeah,
and they're weird.
yeah,
They're really weird. But commercials are sort of the only thing where you audition in a group.
yeah.
For TV and film, you sit in the room with the casting director. Um, but I can see for years I would read these books by casting directors, and my manager would give me these books like, read this book by this big casting director, and they all say the same thing: we want you to be great, we
Yeah.
love you, want you to be great. But I see when I audition specifically for commercials in these groups, how many actors are miserable in the audition process and don't feel like people want them to do well, and will say,
Yeah.
oh, the casting director, they're out to get me. I'm
Yeah.
like, in what world would the casting directors whose job it is to find the actors, in what world would they want you to be bad? And I have to say, the casting director, first of all, the casting director is the one who proves to first show them
Yeah.
that this can work.
Yeah.
They're the ones who have to look at source material sometimes. It's not even, it's one thing if the show's been running for a while or if it's a series of movies, but they read the source material and meet with the director, and they're the ones who decide what the size of the acting is, what the tone of
Yeah.
the acting is.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think in certain circumstances, they're the ones who calm the actor down and get their head out of their
Yeah.
own butt. So I don't, and by the way, that's probably not even what you're referring to. On top of that, they look at a character and say, I'm the one who, I can think of 10 people who would be perfect at this. I'm going to bring those people in. Oh, those 10
Yeah.
people didn't do it. I'm going to put out a breakdown, and I'm going to get 100,000 submissions,
Yeah.
and I'm going to
Yeah.
find the 50 that I
Yeah.
think could do it. I'm going to watch those 50, and I'm going to decide which 20 go to the director, or 10 or 5. I just did a spec pilot that I really can't talk about, so I'll be very vague
Yeah.
about it. From a big actor. And they sent out, we got, my manager reached out and was like, hey, there's this very small role. You want to audition for it? I'm like, yeah, why not? I
Yeah.
got time. And I did get the job. And when my manager took the booking, he said, hey, they never put out a breakdown for this. And they never put out a casting call. And the casting director said, yeah, we went through past auditions, and I just basically told this producer I was going to give him 5 or 10 of the right actors for every
Oh,
role.
yeah.
And I said, well, how did they know me? And he said they went back and watched past auditions.
Oh, fair.
Like,
Because it's all recorded. Yeah.
this is a big, beautiful, like, this is conspiracy theorists, needles and strings on the wall to be able to connect
Yeah.
this role from past auditions. And I don't think they get enough credit. And I've
Yeah.
also had the experience, luckily, I'm not going knock wood again, of being brought to set where there wasn't an audition before, there
Yeah.
wasn't a meeting with the casting director before. And I feel like it puts you at a great disadvantage,
Oh,
because the
yeah.
casting director is also where you workshop these ideas.
Yeah.
You get to find these characters. So no, I 100% agree with you
Yeah.
that the casting directors don't get enough love. And
Fair. Yeah.
I think people are getting it more and more. Maybe
Yeah.
this will open up an Emmys category and all of
Yeah,
this.
maybe, yeah, because you do TV. Yeah, I was happy that they finally, for the first time again in so many years of the Oscar, they finally put the Oscar for that. Because again,
Yeah.
they deserve more credits. All right, so now let's go turn towards Kabuto, because it's
Yeah.
probably the thing you're most known for the last, well, yeah, 20. So I think 2006 when they heard it in first in North America in English, if I'm not mistaken, 2006.
2006. So it's 18 years. Am I
Eight,
doing my
eight,
math right this
eight,
early
yeah,
in the morning?
18 years. Yeah, 18
That's
years. Yeah.
wild.
It's
That's
a long
wild.
time. So I want to first ask you, what's your overall thoughts on Kabuto? Because again, you voiced it for so long, you still do. I know he doesn't appear as much now in Kabuto, but you still do probably there and there. Like, what's your overall thoughts on him after all those years of voicing that character?
Yeah, and it's at this point mostly it's video games where I'm doing him. I still hold a hope that he'll come back again in Boruto.
Yeah.
Um, well, what was great for me to what I love about the character, first of all, is that he's not funny.
No.
And most of the assholes I play are assholes, but they're funny.
Funny. Yeah.
And in fact, my on-camera casting is one of two types of
Yeah.
overconfident idiots. They're either the jerk kind, like Jeremy Piven in Entourage,
Oh
that
yeah.
thinks he knows everything, but he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Or Phil Dunphy from Modern Family, thinks he knows everything, but he's an idiot. It's just a nice guy
Yeah.
or a mean guy. And other than theater, and even there, now that I think about it, I'd only ever played evil characters that had a comedy side to them.
Okay, yeah.
Um, but as an actor, it was such a thrill to play him because he went, spoiler alert, if you're still watching the show, you should keep watching and come back.
Yeah.
As he combined, this is the spoiler, as he combined with Orochimaru
Yeah.
and became, it's the furthest I've ever taken a character into
Yeah.
sheer insanity. Real
Yeah.
insanity, real cackling, crazy, losing yourself.
Yeah.
And so it was easy in a way. You always connect yourself to the characters that you play, but it was easy in a way to sort of think of him as just this detached from logic,
Yeah.
insane villain, which was
Yeah.
fun and liberating
Yeah.
until you get to his origin story.
Yes, which is kind of dark, to be honest.
Oh God, you think? And what you should know, which, and maybe your past guests have told you this, or maybe it's common knowledge. Although when I say this to people, they seem kind of surprised. Dubbing, whether it's anime or live action, is I think one of the only voiceover, animation voiceover for sure, genres where you don't work in the room with the other actors.
Yeah, they
So
told me
if you're
that.
the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
actor, right? So if you're the first actor on the schedule, you set the tone for the scene and you're
Yeah.
listening to all the other, you're acting against all the other lines in Japanese. If you're the
Yeah.
last actor, you're listening to all the voices in English. And by the way, I didn't know
Yeah.
until I did Tiger and Bunny that actors are always leaving jokes for each other on the tracks and leaving nasty jokes until I did Tiger and Bunny, and Yuri was right ahead of me. And I came in and he's constantly leaving these filthy riffs on the
First,
alt
yeah.
track.
Yeah.
Um, so you don't have the benefit of working with the other actors. The other thing is you don't get the scripts in advance. So when
Yeah,
I
fair
got
enough. Yeah.
there, you get there, you watch the reference. The beauty of these directors, voiceover directors already, to me, are such top tier directors.
Yeah.
They have to understand so much more than anyone else in the industry does. But in dubbing,
Yeah.
they have to have such knowledge of the series
Yeah.
because you come in and sit down and they go, hey, this is what's going on with the character. This is what's been going on with
Yeah.
the storyline. This is what it's so they have to really get it.
Yeah. And I think Mary Elizabeth is the amazing narrator that directed, I think, most of Stupid in Naruto, Mary Elizabeth, which is,
She
oh,
taught me how to do the show. Like my breakthrough
yeah.
as an actor happened during the Naruto Kabuto battle with her on the other side of the glass. And it was the first time I didn't need tons of takes to find it. And halfway through the battle, she looked at me and she was like, Dittman, this is it. We're not taking any breaks. We have to fight. So she's
Yeah.
amazing. She's amazing. And a wonderful voice actor also.
Yeah, she just
Um,
nodded to you.
yeah. So, but when I walked in to do the origin story, I was warned it was heavy. I was warned it was
Yeah.
deep. But you basically, so you have the script, you read the line, you watch the reference, maybe you watch the reference again to get the lip flap, sort of to get the tone of it. Although actually,
Yeah.
in my opinion, especially for Naruto, we are more um dynamic isn't the right word because I don't want to put a value judgment on it. We're I mean, we're Americans and culturally
Yeah.
we have more fire and more emotion. It's all more out on our sleeves
Yeah.
than my experience with Japanese culture. I
Yeah.
was a Japanese beer spokesman for 6 years, working with
Oh,
Japanese producers and directors and actors.
yeah.
I lived on Guam. We visited
Oh,
Japan.
nice.
I've had many Japanese friends. This is not an external opinion about their culture.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
more reserved than we are.
Yeah.
They are more control. They have more control over themselves. They are more formal and reserved than we
Yeah.
are. So we wouldn't get a lot of performance note from the Japanese character because
Yeah.
they tended to be more reserved, more controlled. But the timing of the lip flap, and maybe like I couldn't tell you how many loops, which is what you call each line, maybe 6 or 10 loops in, I wasn't having to do any work as an actor to find the emotion that you hear when I'm acting that scene.
Yeah.
And very quickly, I found the tears were real and the emotion was real and the fear was real and the heartbreak was real because I had done all of this work for 10 years or whatever the heck it was at that point,
Yeah.
playing this role and having feelings about him just being a psycho.
Yeah.
And then I felt such great, sorry, I felt such empathy for him and I felt such
Yeah.
regret for not thinking there was more going on.
Yeah.
And this was recorded before the pandemic and before
Okay.
Me Too movement and Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And a lot of things have now happened that I like to think that we all are thinking about something
Yeah.
outside of ourselves far more and
Yeah.
not
Of
just
course.
looking at a person acting like an asshole and thinking
Yeah.
they're a bad person and instead thinking, what might they be going through? Right. I think we've shifted. I like to think, I know I have.
Yeah.
And as a middle-aged, white, straight, cis male, I think that there's a lot for me specifically
Yeah. Of
to be more aware of what's happening in our world.
course. Yeah.
But very quickly as those things happened, and now you just experienced it again. So uh, I started saying I don't want to rehearse it, and I don't want to read the line before we
Okay.
do it. And so I would watch the lip flap, and then I would read the line cold. Um,
Okay.
so that I was also having the epiphanies
Oh.
that I was having as an actor. And then also I have now felt many times like everyone watching it was having the same epiphanies. And so
Okay.
what
Yeah.
an interesting thing to be having those experiences as a viewer also,
Yeah.
who grew up watching anime, who grew up watching Voltron and Robotech and much older
Oh,
stuff.
the old stuff. Yeah.
Um, you know, and Evangelion, which I then was lucky enough to get to do a voice on when they redid it a couple years ago,
Oh,
which is a huge
nice.
fan thing for me.
Yeah.
Um, so I know, man, I'm so meandering. I shouldn't have done this interview so early in the morning. I feel like I can't focus.
No worries.
Um, but like to me, he had such depth to him, and then all of this sycophantic all the jokes about Kabuto and Naruto, and always he loves or Kabuto and Orochimaru, and he loves him, and he's lapdog and all these things. You
Yeah.
start to realize he just wanted to be loved. He
Yeah.
just wanted to have this identity, and so
Yeah.
I also think someone asked me at a meet and greet recently, "Are you mad at how they made him nice at the end?" Um, because I think the people who like Kabuto, and he's very polarizing. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people who hate Kabuto. There's a lot of people
Yeah.
who love him. I think that's the sign of a good villain.
Yes.
Um,
100%.
I, I think the those of us who relished his nastiness
Yeah.
are bummed that he ended up getting redemption. But didn't he didn't he deserve it? He never
I
had a chance.
I think he did. I feel like because my initial was get like what's your like your thought at the Kabuto and Itachi and Sasuke fight, but I feel like it's just running out of time.
We got 9 minutes.
9 minutes. Okay, we'll keep the 9 minutes and we'll have to. Okay,
Once
I was
you want to pick that answer, you want to pick that answer. When I'll say, what do you didn't he deserve? Or we don't do edits, do we?
I'll edit everything afterward. Don't worry about that.
Okay, so do you want me to say again? Didn't he deserve
Oh no,
redemption?
no,
Or you
we
just
got
pick it up?
I got that. I got that was already good. We have
All right,
10 minutes
great.
left, but yeah, I was gonna say because like so yeah, because after the Kabuto and Itachi and Sasuke fight, which is personally one of my favorite, probably like my top three. It's an
It's great.
amazing,
Yes.
amazing fight. The way that they brought Sasuke and Itachi back together was amazing. Um, I feel like the way that he ended after, like, because like the Genjutsu they Itachi used, so it's like Izanami, which makes him, like accept himself to come back and wake up from that Genjutsu, which I think was a great scene. And
Yep.
yes, and he does some good, and he revives with the Kage, and he goes in battlefields and fight and whatsoever, and then he goes in Kabuto and Boruto. But I like what they did with the character because all of those years you got him like in the start he was like a background character working with Orochimaru. Then Orochimaru got away. He just died or whatever, and then he kind of took over, become a sage himself. Was like the big reason that so many people died in Ninja War. He did so many things, reanimate all those characters. He did so much, and then
Yeah.
boom, goes. He loses that battle. He turns to a good character, and then he goes into Boruto. I like the way they brought the character over because again, like I don't think nobody would have guessed he would end up being good after a while. I feel like he did.
Yeah.
So I think that's
You think he would
like a little
sneak
twist.
off, or yeah, where they get his life is at that.
Yeah.
Tell you that any actor will say they wish that they get 2 more episodes.
Yeah, yeah. No, I watched the so yeah, because like he's a little weird. I don't want to say he's weird in Naruto, but I like that he's
Oh, it's
him like him.
weird. It's weird.
Like, to see
It's
him like that
weird.
after like all those years watching Naruto and Shippuden, and he's Boruto, he's like that
It's
teacher.
it's weird. But
Yeah,
I'm glad he got that redemption. I am.
no, no, that was a weird notion again. I love that he did. He deserved. He 100% deserved because you what if you like? I know that the backstory is a failure, and like if you haven't, if you watch this anime and watch Skipper, please watch those. I think it's like 2 episodes or 1 episode that they did that backstory. I know it's a filler and nobody watched fillers, but I think that's one of the that is worth watching because the story behind that filler was amazing. Like I remember, because like first time I
It's
ever
deep.
watched Naruto, I watched everything all through, and I rewatch it. I sometimes skip the fillers, but I always watch those 2 episodes because again they're important. I feel like because again he's one of the OG character, and I feel ever since his backstory explains where he's at now when he was Orochimaru, blah blah blah. Orochimaru got him to this wing like he did with a lot of people, but and Orochimaru kind of respected Kabuto too for like his skills when with medicine and healing and
Yeah.
everything. That's what it like. You look at Orochimaru the henchmen, like the Sound Four, like all those guys. He didn't care if they died. They were just there, but he respected Kabuto. Even though he kind of threatened him a couple times to kill him if he would try something. But he still respected the guy, which I think was really, and you saw the way Orochimaru acting and everything. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
no,
a
so
little bit
yeah.
of a Darth Vader Emperor Palpatine kind of thing.
Yes, yeah, I would say that, or maybe like Vader is all his henchmen. He just kills them one by one because he just wants, because he wants to, or he can. I think it's the most funny thing ever. We'll put it in. Yeah, because like when I interviewed, the only one I did is because Brian Donovan, we did on Skype, which I
Yeah.
haven't used Skype in years.
Back. Did you dial it? Did you call him on his pager before you got on Skype? Or did you send him a fax?
No, it was so painful because I used Skype years and years and years
Sure,
ago,
we all did.
and Cal, I did Cal Ibra too. The one we did on Discord, which I know how to use Discord. That was a lot easier for me to use than
Why are we using
uh
Zoom then?
well, I mean, because it's mostly what people use now most the most
Oh,
often. Yeah, it's
all
just
right.
it's easier for people. It's just they like click a link, join, and just it's more easy that way.
All right.
Or yeah,
We'll work it
yeah,
out.
because I did Tom Gibbs, I did Brian Donovan, I did Steve Silly. Steve, I was surprised because he's an actor, but he's also a director, and he told me that he directed the English dub of Demon Slayer and Seven Deadly Sins, which
Yeah.
I'm a fan of both.
Yeah.
And I usually read like before I interview people like infos about them, whatever, like their background, whatever. And I didn't read that part when I searched him up, which I don't know if it's said or not. So I was surprised that he was like, "Oh damn!" So yeah,
Well,
that was really nice.
they separate on like Wikipedia and stuff like that, acting
Yeah,
credits, directing
yeah,
credits.
I think
Let me
yeah.
blow your mind. Steve Staley taught me in my first voiceover class.
That's
I
that's very
love
nice.
Steve Staley. And so I've done two Funko events and one con. So
Oh, okay.
I've done three events basically. The
Yeah,
second Funko event that I did, Steve was there and it was great to see him. Like
yeah,
I love him. I think he's so funny and fun and a great teacher. Um,
yeah.
and he taught at a voiceover studio called Kalmanson and Kalmanson.
Oh,
Um, and yeah, like I basically got a voiceover. I did everything really backwards in my career. I got a voiceover agent, and then my voiceover agent said, you're a really good actor. You should take a voiceover class." And I immediately signed up, and Steve was the first face that I saw. So I
yeah.
did this event, and he was there. It was this great reunion, this great homecoming. But he's a wonderful director and
He really sounded
teacher
like it. Yeah,
and actor
yeah,
and all of those things. I think he's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I did Michael Yurchak, which was amazing. He was really, really funny. Michael is such a funny guy, to be honest. Like the way like he just like it's every time like he talk about Toby, he sounds so excited like, about talking about Toby and Toby, which was so funny. And then I did James C. Burns. I don't know if you know who that is.
No.
He did a character called Woods in the Call of Duty franchise and the Black Ops
Okay.
franchise by Treyarch, and he's done other voice. And then I interviewed both Cal and Tom together.
Oh, that's fun.
So we started to do with Kyle, and I didn't told him that Tom was coming mid interview. So Tom just joined mid interview, and then Kyle was like, "Oh, what's up?" So it's so funny because it was like a big surprise for. So I do the two did it at the
Oh my
same
gosh,
time.
that's
So
great.
yeah,
Yeah,
the next one.
I met
Oh,
I met Tom that's the thing. Like I said, we don't meet each other. We don't
Yeah,
sit in the booth with each other. I know
yeah,
Miley because we did live sketch comedy shows with
yeah.
each other
Before, yeah,
20 years ago. I know Yuri because we did a play. But I
yeah.
know Tom because his wife was doing a charity event and they wanted a bunch of autographed Naruto stuff to auction off for charity.
Oh, and you
And
sang
that's how I
some.
met Tom. But then I did my first anime convention was Las Vegas Anime Convention last month. And all the other events I'd done, Yuri was there and Tara was there. And so they
Okay,
kind
yeah.
of held my hand through it and walked me. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't think to be honest with you, I didn't do those things for years because I just didn't think anybody would care.
Yeah, well, I feel
Um,
like pandemic, that's when like really it popped out. Like before pandemic, you saw like Miley, maybe
yeah,
Yuri, maybe Nail. Like you got some.
but Yuri's been doing them for 20
Oh
years.
yeah, I know, yeah, yeah. But like I mean, like those were like the main one they were doing. And like since
Yeah,
like COVID, they brought Tom in, they brought Brian, and they brought Neil.
yeah,
I forgot who did Asuma. They brought him too. They brought even Ayate. I forgot the name of the actor that does Ayate. And the ramen guy. I forget his name. And I saw that last year, the first ever. They brought Kakashi, which he's never in years never has done one. He's finally last year he would done one. He had a mask on. I
yeah.
think he did 2 or 3 last year, which it was amazing to see him because
It's awesome. I
yeah.
had no idea. It's awesome. And I actually bring my own book, like a guest book. And so everybody who comes and talks to me, I have them sign my book too, because
Oh,
it
nice.
means a lot to me. As an actor, you
Yeah,
do all this stuff in a vacuum. You work in a booth, you work on set.
yeah,
And for most working actors, the only feedback you get is that you get the check in the mail and they hire you again. There
yeah.
isn't
Fair
this
enough. Yeah,
big feedback,
yeah,
like it's being on set. It is like a freight train working on set, especially
yeah,
on camera stuff. You have to keep pressing forward. And so to
yeah,
get to meet fans, and I mean, I've had people stand in front of my table crying that they're telling me
yeah.
what
Fair
the
enough.
character, and I think especially because Kabuto is such an outsider, is such a,
Yeah,
I think that people connected to that role in such a specific way. Um, but Vegas was my first con, and Tom was, because Yuri wasn't there.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Tom was the one on that one who kind of held my hand, and because I just
Oh,
basically got there and saw him and his wife and was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
yeah. Oh,
And
that's
basically, and it's
awesome.
actually turned out to be very easy and lovely, and
Yeah,
they're great. But
yeah,
yeah, that must have been fun to have two of them together. And I think those guys now travel as a pack. Brian and Tom,
yeah.
um,
I think Neil also goes through pretty
Neil,
often.
they're like
Michael.
a package deal, and I think
Yeah,
they maybe even drove to Vegas together in a car, like for a road trip,
might
and
have.
they're
Yeah,
like buddies, and it's cool. I
yeah,
can see that I can see I'm falling into a very fun
yeah.
community there,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. In the end, if you want to promote anything, we'll let. If you have any cons with it, we'll do that at the end. If you want to promote any cons with
Sure.
anything you're doing, we'll do that at the end there. So I was about to ask you before we cut there. So, do you have a favorite Kabuto scene, a fight, or a favorite quote from? I know you did a decent amount, but do you have it
Well,
anything?
yeah, I did. I guess I did. I already spoiled that question. Those two battles, the Sasuke battle at the end and then the Naruto battle earlier on, are pretty huge for me. Um, my favorite bit of fan content is the Ninja Info Cards music video. Have you seen this? Do you know what I'm talking about? Ninja Info Cards.
Yeah, yeah, I did
They're
see
my Ninja
that.
Info Cards.
Yeah, that's one of the
Uh,
funny things that they did. Yeah.
it's really great. It's
Yep.
really great. I feel like it's probably going to go around again pretty soon because
Yeah.
most people when I bring it up don't know what I'm talking about. Um, but again, that breakthrough I had doing the battle with Naruto was pretty huge. And
Yeah.
my favorite line comes out of that, which is dreams don't come true when you're dead. Like when
Yeah,
I do cons
that
and
is
people want
yeah.
when people want bed, that's it every single time. I think it's
Well,
awesome.
it's one of his
Uh,
best quotes. Let's be honest. It's a great quote that he said, and
it's
here's the thing,
great.
and it's probably stick in Naruto head until the end. Like that, I appreciate because up to that, there was the first time that you thought, oh, he's about to give up, and then he
Yeah.
goes and saves Tsunade and gets punched in the face. I think that's like
Yeah.
one of the big
And
moment
it
of the
doesn't make
anime.
the list of quotes, by the way. Like a lot of times if you've ever been to one of these events, there are fans there. There's also collectors there, which I'm
Yeah,
super down for. Like I collected Star Wars toys when I was a kid. I still got them
yeah,
all in my dad's attic. I collected
yeah.
autographed Clippers jerseys. Here's a Blake Griffin. who
Oh,
just retired
yeah.
right here
Oh,
over my
yeah.
shoulder.
Yeah.
So I get collecting also. It means a lot to me. So
Yeah.
like when I'm autographing something for them at a convention or at a meet, and they're like, I take a breath, I center myself to do it, and they're like, hey, it's okay. That I'm like, I want to make sure I get this right. They're like, just do whatever. I'm not going to do
No.
just whatever. You waited in line for several hours to meet me. You waited in
Yeah.
line. You bought this thing. You came to find me. I didn't do these forever. A lot
Yeah.
of the people I meet are like, oh my gosh, you've never done these. You're doing these now. We had to meet you.
Yeah.
So it's important to me also to like have it be right
Yeah.
and have it be perfect. And that's the quote though. Dreams don't
Yeah.
come true. Dead.
So they're
So,
going
but
to when
and for
you're
some
dead. Yeah.
reason, that's what I was gonna say. People will basically walk up, they'll Google great Kabuto
Yeah. Yeah.
quotes, and it's
Yeah.
almost never on the list. It's the best one. Dreams don't come true when you're dead.
It is. Again, I think that's the one quote. There's so many quotes that Naruto heard in like in the entire show that probably stick with him. I think Zabu's also one of them too. That was early on, but again, Kabuto, what he said to Naruto that arc to that arc was, I think, was again I would say one of the best quotes of the anime, because it is true. What like Naruto, he tried to point him down, and he kind of did, and he just got it up, because that's what Naruto always does. Yeah, no, that was it's great quote. Probably one of my favorite in the anime. Also, it's a great quote. And also, I think the Tsunade arc in OG Naruto is like one of the best art of the anime too. Like, and you also rest in peace, but you're the first person Naruto used a Rasengan onto, which is again one of the great moment of the anime.
Yeah,
Which was a great scene.
yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. And now just
Uh.
imagine that I had no idea what I was in for when I started doing all of that.
Yeah.
I came in and did the first episode and was like, I have no idea what this is. And it was
Yeah.
long enough ago that there weren't nobody was really using any kind of social media. It was message
Yeah.
boards.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I watched
Yeah.
the first episode, or excuse me, recorded my first one or two episodes, and then went and watched the episode, and then went to the chat board.
Yeah.
And I had a friend, like there's a philosophy for theater actors that you either read good and bad reviews and believe them both, or an actor, and then read your bad reviews that say you were terrible and say, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. You have to believe both.
Yeah.
And I felt like, again, being someone who grew up on fan oriented and fan focused content,
Yeah.
Star Wars, like uh, science fiction, anime, Robotech, Voltron.
Yeah.
I knew the fans were where to get the feedback. So I went immediately to message boards.
Yeah.
And some of it was very positive, and some of it was really brutal. But I took all of it to heart. In my next sessions, I think I had made this choice, and I had been directed to make this choice of playing him pretty young. If you go back and listen to the first,
Yeah.
I think that I overplayed his innocence. So if you go back and watch my first episode of Kabuto, I think his voice is almost up here. It's like really high, and like that was what some of the fans were like, "What the fuck is this?" And I by the way,
Yeah.
I watched it and was like, what the F was I doing? And so over the course of several episodes, because you can't change the character's voice,
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but over the course of several episodes, I recalibrated it. And
Yeah.
each episode, I think I did 2 or 3 episodes in a row, maybe the next time that I did it. Each one, I consciously dropped his voice a little bit, dropped his voice a little
Sure.
bit.
Yeah.
And then obviously, as time went on, it became more my own voice and
Yeah.
acting choices.
Yeah, I feel like the other
But I
people
think
like
the fans are so smart, man.
yeah.
They're so attached to it.
Yeah, you look at like Silly, like he like when to read him, he sounds like Neji. His or like his natural voice is literally Neji. And some voice
Yeah.
Tom too. Tom sounds like Shikamaru. He's
Well,
literally,
and by the way,
crazy.
increasingly, they don't. I talk to actors, aspiring actors, all the time, and they're like, "I want to be an animation actor. I do all these silly voices," and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you for that. That's what got most of us into it, is that we could do these
Yeah.
funny voices, and they don't want that.
No, yeah, Tom told
There's
me, Kyle
cases where
told
you
me.
can
Yeah.
do it, but like very rarely am I coming in and doing a silly voice. Like
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah.
you're very often doing something that's attached to you. But I'll also tell you, I was talking to Carrie Karanen, who is a very accomplished voice actor who
Yeah.
directs dubs
Yeah.
as well, directs dubbing beautifully. She directed the entire Evangelion series,
Okay, nice.
redub, revoice, and I find her to
Yeah,
be. And I met her doing a play.
that's nice.
She's a brilliant actor, and I was talking to her about it. Oh, she started bringing me in for live action dubbing, and I was like, "Oh, this is great. Did you bring me into this because of dubbing so much anime, Kabuto and Tiger and Bunny, Golden Ryan?" And she
Yeah.
said, "No, actually, increasingly, the production companies and the dubbing houses that do language dubbing want on-camera actors because
Oh,
they have it in their head, and I actually think this is maybe not true. They have it in their head that on-camera actors are not doing voices. They're acting the
okay.
scene. And they, even in the
Yeah.
anime stuff, the anime, they want it to feel like an actor acting, not like somebody doing a voice. My
Yeah.
pushback was some of the best actors I know are doing anime dubbing.
Yeah.
Yuri Lowenthal is an amazing actor. Tara Platt is an amazing actor. Like these
Yeah,
are
I've
all
seen I've seen the live action stuff. Yeah, they recently did a short. I think it
great.
was like 2 years ago. They did like a short movie. They did and they directed them and I think they starred in it and everything. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
they were great. Yeah.
Yeah, they've
Okay,
been all along producing their own stuff.
yeah,
All
you're
along.
and Yuri has a lot of characters too. I feel like I didn't know, and now I know. But he did Ben 10, which I as a kid was like my favorite cartoon. Like not the.
That was his big mainstream breakout.
Oh yeah,
After
yeah,
all the anime stuff, that was like a big mainstream thing for him. I
yeah,
remember seeing it and being like, "Yes, amazing."
yeah. Have you watched like most? Because I know you see watch anime. Have you watched Naruto? Like, do you like know like the arcs and everything or?
I was watching it in the time we would when I knew I had a session coming up. I would watch a couple of episodes to remind myself of
Okay,
the tone. But I am, but at the moment where I decided to watch it, I have an 11, almost 11-year-old daughter.
oh, okay.
So maybe like 2/3 of the way through the run of recording it, or about halfway through, she was born. And I thought, I'm gonna wait and watch this with my kids when they're old enough
With
to
your
watch it.
kid? Okay, fair enough. That's what Michael told me. He said he don't watch with his kids. There, he
Yeah.
had the
So
14.
so I have seen it, and I would follow along with it, and I've watched parts of it and
Okay.
bits and pieces, but I haven't watched the entire series.
Okay, fair
And
enough. Okay.
I'm holding on it. And and interestingly, completely separate from the work that I do, my daughter is a really wonderful artist,
Oh, okay.
um, drawing and painting and all that, and she draws anime style,
Oh, that's fair.
but it's
That's very
not because
nice.
of me. So, but I have yet to watch the entire run of the show because of
Okay.
going off. Yeah.
Okay, so wait for her to be old enough to be like, we can sit down and watch it. Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I did.
because we just read, like, I know it's problematic. She's problematic in a big way right now, but we just read all the Harry Potter books.
Oh.
And we got all the books from the library, so we didn't give her any of our money. Uh, uh, but we just read all the Harry Potter, and basically we were reading them at the same time. And
Okay.
when those books came out the first time, I was a young guy out of college, and I wasn't reading much. And my roommate was like, "We got to read these books." Oh, actually, we did Lord of the Rings first. We did a book club where we would read Lord of the Rings and then pass the
Yeah.
books along through book club. And we did the same thing with Harry Potter. It got me back into reading, and the same thing has happened now. My daughter and I read all the Harry Potter books, and 20
Yeah.
years later, it got me back into reading again. So
Yeah,
no, I
no.
haven't watched it. I haven't watched it all, but I've watched a ton of it,
A ton of those,
and
okay,
I've
yeah.
watched all my episodes.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
that's the
because I'm
thing.
an egotistical actor. Eh, now you
Yeah,
know.
fair enough. Yeah. Um I wanna ask you too, what was the most challenging thing to voice Kabuto? Like, what's the most challenging thing that was about voicing that character for?
Well, well, you have to keep in mind, it's so funny because I spend all this time talking to it's amazing how many people come and talk to me at conventions, and you should come talk to me about this at conventions. I love to talk to people.
Yeah.
Um, it's amazing how often people are asking advice on getting started as an actor, and the first thing I always say is take acting class. I went to
Yeah.
theater school, I took acting classes. I don't think I could have done any of the things that I did as an actor if I didn't have a basis of training
Yeah.
my voice and my body. I took movement classes. I was a dancer. I was a dancer on tour when I got out of high
Oh,
school before I started college. I toured for a year as a dancer. And I think all of those things were instrumental in me being able to do all these different types of things.
yeah.
That said, that said, most of the time I got to set or the recording booth and learn the hard way by failing, which is my other piece of advice to actors. If you want to be an actor,
Yeah.
start filming things, start making things, start writing things, start creating your own content. So like
Yeah.
my first dubbing job was on a video game called a beep track. It goes beep, 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 speak. And that helps you get the timing. It's like a
Yeah.
click track for a
Yeah.
drummer, and you hear tap, tap, tap. The first time I did dubbing, they're like, all right, here we go. Let's do the first line. Beep, beep, beep. Like, oh, all right, Henry, we're gonna start now. Let's go again. Beep, beep, beep. Hey, when we do the beeps, you start talking, dummy. And like, and I didn't know. And if you get Yuri Lowenthal and Tara Platt have a great voiceover acting book that I recommend anybody read, and it's full of
Yeah.
anecdotes of actors. And in that book, also, then the first radio voiceover job I got was because I was doing on-camera commercials, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to do some
Uh,
radio spots. I pay you extra." And I go into the booth, and we're recording the takes, and there's something in voiceover called ABC. And that just means, hey, now we're going to do
yeah.
ABC. So read that line, but read it three very different ways,
Yeah.
right? It's a summer sales event at Toyota. It's a summer sales event at Toyota. It's a summer sales event at Toyota. It just means three different ways.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, let's do ABC of that, Henry. Here we go. Rolling. And I go, ABC. And I just say ABC. And it's a room. Every actor was in the lounge howling. So I learned how to do all this stuff the hard way. So
Yeah.
to say that the hardest thing for me starting was matching the lip movements
Yeah.
and not losing the acting that I wanted to do.
Okay.
And the tricky part about doing on-camera acting for I think for a lot of actors, is that you're thinking outside in. And there's
Yeah.
a really wonderful director named David Shane that I've worked with a couple of times, on-camera director, who uses the expression, hey, when he's watching someone work on set, who will say, hey, show all of that to me less. Let's work more inside out.
Yeah.
Have the feelings, have the thoughts, have the
Yeah.
emotions, let them come out for us instead of trying to figure out how to show it to us. And that was the biggest challenge for me, I think, was managing the technical aspects of it, and then not forgetting, getting too in my head about it, perhaps, is the way to say it. And again, I think I bet you, I'm glad you asked that question, because I think I've always tried to understand what happened with Mary Elizabeth and me on that Naruto battle. I think that was where it became instinctive,
Okay.
where I could get the timing in my body, because it's a technical art form.
Yeah.
Voice acting, that you don't know, you wouldn't believe how often you're recording a line in a commercial and they'll say, hey, that was 18 seconds and we need it to be 17 and a half.
Oh.
And you just
Okay. Yeah.
go, okay. And again, technical training as a theater actor,
Yeah.
doing musicals, so you understand timing, doing dance, you
Yeah.
understand timing, projecting your voice so you can be heard in a theater while you are still keeping it very intimate.
Yeah.
But so that, I think that was the biggest challenge for me, was the technical aspect of it, for sure.
Okay.
But
Okay.
once that, just like everything else, once that clicked for me, I never had to think about it again. So now when I continue to do dubbing. And again, it
Yeah.
was only a year or so ago that we did the second season and third season of Tiger and Bunny.
Okay. Yeah.
Now that is I don't even have to think about it. It's more
Okay.
information. And in fact, I actually take it now. I think it now more for me is, it helps me more than hinders me. I can
Yeah.
track how long it's taking a character to say something. It gives me information instead of being
Okay.
told.
Okay. Yeah. Somebody asked in the chat. I want to ask you this question. What is your favorite character in Naruto except for Kabuto?
Orochimaru.
Orochimaru. Okay, fair enough. That's
Straight up, dude.
Steve
Orochimaru.
Bloom is one of those
I
villains that, like,
mean, the dude is really good. The dude is really good. He
yeah.
Previous to that, I was on a show called Zatch Bell. as a character, Kafk Sunbeam, who did have a character voice. He talked like
Yeah.
this,
Oh yeah, he
groovy.
has that very yeah, because he also does Zabuza, who has that big voice, and Irishman is like, I cannot do the
So
voice, but
and maybe and ultimately I ended up creating a character and making a TV pilot around a character who talked a little bit like that after the fact. But Dave Wittenberg played the donkey sidekick or the horse sidekick, Mary May, Mary, Mary
yeah,
May, Mary May. And Dave at the time, I think we had the same agent. We would hang out in the voiceover waiting
yeah.
room all the time with each other. And to for years and years, that was my big. I wish we could record these together because Dave also is a sweetheart.
Oh,
Just a
he's
good,
really sound like he is. I've seen him
he's a
like during those
great
cons.
guy.
Yeah,
He's a funny guy. But
yeah.
but but truly the actor that I wish I could have been in the booth with recording always was Orochimaru. It
Same.
always was
Yeah,
that
yeah. I feel
because
like.
of like the back and forth of how nasty and evil and the way he would turn the screws on Kabuto.
Yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
times that I was recording literally these close-up profile shots of Kabuto like, oh, I should be facing the microphone. While Orochimaru was just emotionally and
Yeah.
psychologically pounding him. I mean, yeah, easy answer, easy answer.
Yeah.
And then anything Yuri ever voiced,
Yeah.
of course, because he's my friend. Because he's my
Yeah,
friend.
I really like what he did. It was the Game Awards in December, and he was nominated for the second time for Spider-Man for his work
Yeah,
on the Spider-Man game. And I swear to God, 2018 Roger Clark, who did Arthur Morgan and Red Dead Redemption 2, deserved that 100%. But I was really hoping, and I really thought he was gonna win for Spider-Man 2. So I don't know if you heard his work in that game.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And holy shit, he did such,
Well,
especially like the
Spider-Man 1 I've played.
Samuel.
I haven't played Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, but like the symbiote like scenes when he has a symbiote on him and he tars like that dark Peter because we always said with Toby and like Spider-Man 3 back then. Oh, I swear to God, I thought he was gonna win, but it went through the Buttergate 3 guy, I forgot his name, but I was so sad he didn't win that because he deserved that so much. Like,
He's such a great actor. He's such a great actor and a great dad and a great guy. It,
yeah,
it really is. You, you, there's something extra special about watching somebody, a nice person, well-deserving person, find
yeah,
success.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and ultimately, again, in the realm of the working actor, this may be boring or this may blow your
yeah.
mind. They did this. 1 in 10 actors was in the union, which meant they could be on a TV show.
Okay,
And there's plenty of non-union work out there, but truly you've got to be in the union to get in anything of any
yeah,
kind of size, right?
fair enough.
1 in 10 actors was in the union. 1 in 10
That's a
actors in
little
the
small.
union, 1 in 10 had made $3,000 or more that year as an actor. 1 in 10 of those had made a living wage, whatever that
Okay,
means. Living
yeah.
wage,
So probably the
right?
bare minimum to be able to,
I guess. And
yeah.
13% of those were names you would recognize.
Okay,
So like to make a living, and I'm gonna knock wood again. I have been making my living as an actor. I'm 25 years in the union and the last 23 years I've qualified for my health insurance. I've been in the pension. I've made a
yeah,
living for 20 something years as an actor. Yuri has made a living for 20 something years as an actor.
yeah,
It would be easy for somebody to look at someone like Yuri and say, oh, but he hasn't gotten that big break. He is 0.1% of actors in the industry that he has
yeah,
fed his family. And the fact that his wife, Tara, has an equally
yeah,
great career
yeah,
makes it even more astounding. Two people in the same household? It's it's wild.
yeah. True,
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
would say very few of my friends who were starting at the same time as me did not quit, but they again go back to the early part of the interview. They probably had something at home that their
yeah,
mom had a family business, their dad had a family business they could join. But very few of the people I know who were assholes
yeah,
made careers for themselves.
yeah. Fair enough. Yeah,
Everybody is really talented, and
yeah,
very few people very few people have to work with someone who's a problem.
Yeah.
And Yuri is lovely and has
Yeah.
brought me into projects where he's barely getting paid, but he loved the project and he loved the creators. And
Yeah.
he's like, I'll do this for you. I'll do this for
Yeah.
you because you're my friends and I want to help you make
Yeah.
something. He also loves to be creative.
Yeah. No,
But yeah, he's nice.
I would love to interview Yuri Tora. That would be like him Yuri Laura would love, and like Steve, which is probably harder to get to interview because he's probably a really busy guy there. But I feel like
Yeah, I think
Yuri
he just
Tora,
doesn't do them. He doesn't even do appearances, does he? I think he
I
does all
don't.
send-ins,
Steve, I don't
virtual.
think I've never seen. I seen like one or two convention with like the other Naruto videos, but like it's rare. And interviews like this, I don't think I've never. The only one he done with they did like a Naruto reunion like 2 years ago. There was like 7 or 8 of those the voices whatever, but he doesn't do those kinds. I don't think you does too. Yeah. So and Kakashi, but but I don't think that would be impossible because I don't think he would. Unless he would, but I don't think Dave would do it. I don't think he would. Yeah. So
Yeah, I never
uh
know.
yeah, if it happened. So I sent you two quote earlier by email,
Yeah.
and if you want to say those two amazing quotes really quick, that'll be
Yeah, I've got them
amazing.
right here. I'm gonna have to read them. I didn't memorize them.
Oh,
They're
don't
not
worry.
off book. Here we go. Uh, you should know what it's like, Naruto. The pain of not having a true identity. Are you Naruto Uzumaki or the Nine Tails? Had you ever wondered, what am I? In the shinobi world, those without talent are nothing, but those who lack talent can just steal it from those who do. What
Nice.
I do? You have notes?
That was
I don't
nice. Oh.
remember where those were in the scenes. Did I get it right? Or was it
Yes.
supposed to be funny?
No,
In
no,
the
those were two.
shinobi world.
No, those were too serious. I think first one I think that happens in Shippuden, if I'm not mistaken. I think on the bridge, if I'm not mistaken. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure. And the second one, I'm not sure where that one is from. I know the first one is on the bridge with like when he like with the the Tanchi Bridge on like Shippuden. I'm pretty sure. No, maybe I'm.
Yeah. This would be such a great quote for signings. Those without talent are nothing.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
maybe
pretty
yeah.
good. Are you sure? Are you sure that's a quote from the show? You didn't
Yeah.
find that on some offsite?
No, no, no.
I
That
have
is
to
from
look that
that.
up.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
really great.
Yeah,
Those
that's a
without
couple.
talent are nothing. I'm always looking for great quotes when people are asking me to sign stuff with quotes. So
Yeah.
if anybody wants to comment on this video, your favorite quote, you could help me out with my research.
We found
That's
something,
so
guys.
good. Also,
Yeah.
those who lack talent from your listeners.
So sorry, what?
Did we already do the questions from your listeners? Is that what we did
Yeah,
previously?
yeah. Well, the
Oh,
last
great.
three were for all from listeners. Yeah, they're all
Oh,
from
nice.
listeners. Yeah, I was what I really
Nice.
try to read the comments live on the live right now.
Love
Yeah,
it.
I guess we have 8 minutes left, so I want to ask you, one last question. So you see where he is in in Boruto. Sorry, the character is in Boruto.
Yeah.
He hasn't really done much fighting. What do you want to see from the character now? Like what you've done from Boruto so far. What do you want to see with the character? Do you want him to go out maybe on a big fight and die? Do you want him to have maybe go back by as an evil if that would happen? Like, what do you want with the character now that he's in that where he's from
I think
Naruto?
what would be fun would be to see him have to help another character wrestle with their past.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think what I would love to see, and by the way, it would be okay with me if that happened by him becoming a villain again.
Yeah.
And he's having to sort of, I don't know why he would though. He's working with kids, so it's something
Yeah.
jarring would have to happen to bring him back into it.
Yeah.
Return of Orochimaru, something like that. I'd love to, but I would love to see him be the person on the shoulder of either a hero or a villain who's
Yeah.
doing what they're doing based on their background
Yeah.
and help them through that. That's where I'd want it to be. Now,
That's interesting.
excuse me, how that ends for him? Does he live? Does he die? Does he go into retirement? Does it whatever? I don't know. Whatever would give me the most chances to keep coming back because I really love playing the character.
Yeah, fair enough. Because you said that what you do mostly now, this is the video games. I think the
Yeah.
last one you did was Connection, some Connection,
Yeah.
which just came out in October. And
Yep.
I think before that, I think was Shinobi Striker. I
Yeah,
think, which
that
came
seems
out
right.
2018. Yeah, you had this character in there. That's what it was. Yeah. Well,
But this
actually,
last one feels pretty. This last one feels pretty all inclusive. I mean, it's not that he wouldn't come back and do more games, but man, they really brought everybody back in for that last
oh
game.
yeah, yeah. They brought like so all the characters from the Storm games were like the main Naruto license they did there. Yeah, they started Naruto game like the Storm series. So 1, 2, 3, 4 connection, generation, revelation. So they did 7 of them at this point. Like the
Yep.
main Naruto games and also the most HD and better make and most production into it. But that last one, you're right. They brought everybody. Like I think every character that was in the past, they're all in that one game. And I think yeah, it was a good game. I pre-ordered the game and I played the game in early, and that was a great game to play. What I also
Nice.
love what they did, because like every Storm game had the period of time. Like Storm 1 was OG Naruto, Storm 2 was like until the pain fight, Storm 3 was like the start of the war, and Storm 4 was the end of the war, and the connection took like everything and put it in one game. So from the OG Naruto to the end of the war of Shippuden, I like what they did with this. I thought it was really nice.
They also
Uh,
it also took a really long time to make the game. I feel like when I went in, I did 2 sessions,
two
and when I
sessions.
went in for the second session, I was like, "Oh, what's this new game?" And they're like, "We started this game. It might have been a year or more prior, or two
Holy
years. It was a
shit!
long pause, and maybe it was the lockdown, maybe it was like the
Yeah.
pandemic. But it took them a long time to get that game made.
Yeah, because the fan asked, because after Storm 4, by the way, Storm 4 is the most sold anime game of all time. I think it's over 10 million
Really?
copies. Yeah,
Oh,
Storm 4,
nice.
yeah. It's the most animated, that's over 10 million copies at this point. And fans asked for a new Storm game, and they did it with some condition. So Storm 4 came out in 2016, so it took them 8 years to make Storm condition. But I feel it was worth the wait for sure. Yeah, it was a good game, and I enjoyed it very much. You see, you only, I've and now if I'm not mistaken, really quick, I think like you say you do 2 session. Was the second session the one you did like all the like the grounds and like the because
No, I had lines in that too, so I'm not sure.
you save those for the end, right? Because that's what Tom and Cal told me. You save like
Yeah,
those like
you
because
save
it's
those for the end
more
because ultimately they're really taxing, and it's not just the uhs, it's like battle cries and
battle. Yeah, yeah,
screaming
yeah.
and all of that. And again, I don't know what it's like for other actors doing them. I don't typically need a ton of takes to do those.
Oh, okay.
Maybe everyone is the same in that. Like once you've been playing a character for this long and you've done enough
Yeah,
of that, I think early on having to do efforts, they're called efforts.
yeah,
Um, I think early on it would take me longer to understand what that was. And now that again, back to the casting and the director. You know, these session directors know exactly what it needs to be. They are
yeah.
very versed in it. So they'll tell you what it is and you do it. But it doesn't change the fact that if you are, this is gonna be loud. If you're like you are full throated screaming,
Yeah.
you only have so many of those
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. So it's not a
before you
lot. It's
start to
just
feel it. What's
yeah,
really wild, you know, you can't reschedule these sessions. So, and there's definitely been
yeah.
times I recorded a show or a video game or whatever, very sick, and just basically trying to keep my voice and sip tea and suck on lozenges and all of that.
Yeah, fair
But yeah,
enough.
it can be a lot. You always save those for the last.
Yeah, of course, because they're difficult in the voice. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, this was a great honor. Yuri. I want to thank you so much. Before we go, do you want to anything you want to say? Any comic concerts, any concerts coming, or anything you're working on? Any show you want to promote really quick
Oh
before
yeah,
we
for
go?
sure. I mean, I only do I'm not doing a lot of the public appearances, but I love them. But I've
Yeah.
heard that Anime Riverside, which is coming up June 1st and 2nd in Riverside, California, is
Yeah.
an awesome one. It's only my second
Yes.
convention, my first in California. So I'll be there. Please come see me, come say hi. Don't feel like you have to come only if you're going to do an autograph. I want people to sign my book. It's
Yeah.
very important to me to get to meet fans and talk to them and hear how they love the show and have loved or hated Kabuto. So Anime Riverside, the first and second is what I've got coming up for sure. Come say hey.
That's great. I might go because I haven't. I've went. I think 2019 is the last time I went to a convention, or whatever. So I might go. Where'd you say it was the in
Riverside, California. Anime
Riverside?
Riverside. So if you
Riverside,
look
Colorado.
up, but find me. I'm at Henry Dittman on Instagram, and I've got all
Yeah.
the information there. If you want to grab me and follow me there, and everything I've got
Yeah.
coming up goes there.
Yeah.
The other big project I did, I'm not allowed to talk about.
Yeah, of course, yeah, it's still secret. Yeah,
So
because do you have any social instead for it? I know you have IMBD. I think you have a cameo too, which I can put the
yeah, I got a
you.
cameo for sure. It's at Henry Dittman, I'm pretty sure. And then
Yeah,
I'm on formerly Twitter, which is X, but I'm not really on it.
yeah. So I'll put
Not
your
really on that.
Instagram. Yeah, so I'll put your IMDb, your Instagram, and your cameo in the description on YouTube. People want to go and get a
Yeah.
cameo from you. Which I did. I did get four in the past for my girlfriend because I don't really like. If it was for her because I got into Naruto. I got Hinata. That was the one that she freaked out about because
Nice.
she loved Hinata so much. Yeah. Oh, but thank you so much for your time here. To appreciate it a lot. Thank everybody to on TikTok for watching it live. You guys saw it earlier. So if you're here this over this live, you saw it early. This will be out probably this weekend. If you want to, when I have this uploaded on, I'll probably just put Spotify today because like it just literally put the voice. It's really simple. The
Yeah.
YouTube video I'll probably until this weekend till I edit it, whatever how long it takes me to do it. So if you want to, I can send to you when it's done, so you can post in your story
Yeah.
or something like that. If you want
Yeah,
to,
dude. And at me on all of your posts
yeah,
so
I'll
that I
tag you on
can,
Instagram.
so
Yeah,
I'll tag me on all of them. And
yeah, I will. Oh, I think it's gross. Yeah. No,
then
yeah. Well,
I'll
yeah.
forward.
Yeah, I'll tag you on Instagram. If I post, Spotify will be out probably by tonight, and then YouTube will be out this weekend. Whatever I have to get because I have to edit everything, and I suck at editing stuff. But I do my
Ah,
best.
you'll figure it out. But dude, man, I think our connection froze for a second there. I maybe you
Yeah,
didn't hear me, but man, it was great to meet you, man. It was awesome to be on your show.
thank you.
Like this is a blast. I love doing the show. I love the fans of anime. I think that Naruto
Yeah,
fans are the best fans there are. So it was really
I
my
think yeah,
pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
Sam. I think Naruto has the best fan base. I will say anime wise, and Naruto has the best fan base. I will say this, the
Oh
biggest
yeah,
fan base for sure.
OGs, the OGs.
Yes, I'm an OG. I'm 23. I've been watching since I was 6 years old, so I'm definitely an OG.
That's the only 23. That's the only way you're an OG. Cut it out. I'm the old. I'm old.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Probably gonna end. The thing's gonna end very soon. So, so much. Appreciate it, man. So much taking your time today. And I'll tag you when I post those on Instagram.
Awesome, buddy. Dreams don't come true when you're dead. Hey, man,
Thank
really
you.
nice to meet you.
You too, man.